Never let the flame of hope die within you. My friend, my sister, if you're here tonight, it's because something within you still refuses to give up. Even though your heart feels heavy, even though tears flow in silence, even though you feel you've reached the end of your strength, God hasn't spoken His final word over your life. In the midst of your storm, in the depth of your pain, in the silence of your suffering, God is still writing your story. He's not done with you yet, and He never will be. I know the nights are long. Questions flood your mind. Why me? Does anyone care about my pain? How much longer must I carry this burden? Am I strong enough to make it through another day? You feel alone, lost in a desert without end, and sometimes you're tempted to abandon everything. The weight feels too heavy, the road too long, the hope too distant. But tonight I want to speak to you about a truth that transcends all circumstances. God is with you, and He has promised you a victory you cannot yet see. His promises are not dependent on your feelings, your circumstances, or your ability to see the way forward. They stand firm, unshakable, eternal. Let me tell you the story of Jeremiah. This prophet, chosen before his birth, experienced darkness deeper than many of us could ever imagine. He was persecuted, mocked, rejected by his own people. They threw him into a cistern filled with mud, letting his limbs sink into the gloomy mire. Picture this moment, Jeremiah, covered in filth, his body sinking slowly into the cold, suffocating mud. The darkness was complete, the silence deafening, the hope seemingly gone. Yet in that cistern, God was not absent. There was a man named Ebed-Melech, an Ethiopian, an eunuch, whom no one considered important, but who believed in God. This black servant went to the king and begged that Jeremiah be saved. With old rags and ropes, they pulled him out of that pit of despair. But the story doesn't end there. God said to Jeremiah, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Jeremiah 29:11. Imagine these words spoken while Jeremiah was still covered in mud, bruised and broken. God wasn't promising the absence of pain, but a future filled with hope. He wasn't saying the suffering would end immediately, but that it had purpose and that something beautiful would come from it. This promise wasn't just for Jeremiah, it's for you too, right here, right now, in your situation. And when Jeremiah complained about his suffering, God answered him, "Is it not because Ephraim is crushed that I have shattered him, and I have surely helped him?" Jeremiah 31:18. God reminded him that he hadn't fallen by accident. Every trial had meaning, every wound a reason, every fall a lesson. God was not punishing Jeremiah, He was preparing him. He was not abandoning him, He was shaping him. He was not finished with him, He was refining him like gold in the fire. My brother, my sister, perhaps you feel like Jeremiah in that cistern today. You only see the dark walls around you. You only feel the mud that's swallowing you. Maybe you're in a financial crisis that seems impossible to overcome. Maybe you're dealing with a health challenge that drains your strength daily. Perhaps you're walking through a relational breakdown that leaves your heart in pieces. Or maybe you're facing a spiritual dryness that makes you question everything you once believed. Whatever your cistern looks like today, remember this. God sees you, God knows your pain, and God is already working to pull you out. But I want you to understand something crucial. Sometimes God's timing doesn't match ours. Sometimes the rescue doesn't come when we expect it. Sometimes He allows us to stay in the mud a little longer to build our character, to deepen our faith, or to prepare us for something greater. This doesn't mean he doesn't care. It means he cares enough to make you more than you were before. Look at the example of Joseph. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused and imprisoned, forgotten in a dark cell for years. Yet God was with him every step of the way. Every betrayal, every injustice, every lonely night, God was there, preparing him for his destiny. When Joseph finally stood before Pharaoh as the second most powerful man in Egypt, he could say, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. The same God who was with Joseph is with you today. Keep going, my friend. Don't give up. I know your strength is exhausted. I know your heart races facing uncertainty. But look at the example of Paul and Silas in the Philippian prison. Beaten, bruised, thrown into a dark dungeon with their feet in stocks. What did they do? They prayed. They sang praises to God in the midst of their pain. And what happened? The earth shook, the doors opened, the chains fell off. But that's not all. The jailer who was about to commit suicide was saved, and his whole household with him. This is the power of perseverance in faith. When you choose to praise instead of complain, when you choose to trust instead of fear, when you choose to hope instead of despair, you release the power of God into your situation. Your worship becomes a weapon. Your faith becomes a force. Your hope becomes a light that cannot be extinguished. You see, my friend, when you keep going despite the pain, when you refuse to give up even when everything seems lost, you don't know the impact you're having. Maybe God is using your silent courage to touch someone else. Maybe your refusal to let go will save a soul who's watching. Maybe your hope in darkness will become someone else's light. Your faithfulness in the small things prepares you for the big breakthrough that's coming. The Bible tells us, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." Romans 8:28. All things, my friend. Not just the beautiful things, not just the easy moments. All things, including this pain you carry, this wound that won't heal, this weight that seems endless. God takes even your tears, your cries of distress, your sleepless nights, and he transforms them into something beautiful. I know that sometimes faith seems fragile like a flame in the wind, but a small flame can illuminate great darkness. When you can no longer walk upright, walk on your knees. When you can't pray long, pray in silence. When you can't cry anymore, let your heart break in silence. God hears everything. He sees everything. And he loves you more than you could ever imagine. Don't compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. God writes your story differently. He has special plans for you. Plans for peace and not for evil, as he told Jeremiah. Plans for a future and hope. Just because you can't see the light doesn't mean it's not there. Just because you can't feel victory doesn't mean it's not coming. Sometimes the breakthrough happens in the night, just before dawn breaks. Keep going, my brother. Don't give up, my sister. I know you're tired, but God isn't tired. I know you're discouraged, but God isn't discouraged. I know you can barely see ahead, but God sees the whole road, and he's holding your hand. He's not just watching from a distance. He's walking beside you, carrying you when you can't walk, holding you when you feel like falling. Remember these powerful words. And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. He who began. God began something in you. He hasn't abandoned it. He won't abandon it. He will bring it to completion. This promise is your anchor in the storm, your hope in the darkness, your certainty in the uncertainty. So today, I want you to do one very simple thing. I want you to lift your eyes. I want you to say to your weary heart, I keep going. I want you to say to your pain, you will not define me. I want you to say to the darkness, you will not win. Speak these words with authority because you have authority in Christ. You are not a victim. You are a victor. You are not defeated. You are being prepared for victory. Place your faith in Him who never changes. Place your hope in Him who holds your future in His hands. Place your love in Him who loved you before the world existed. His love for you is not based on your performance, your circumstances, or your ability to feel worthy. His love is unconditional, unchanging, and eternal. And now, act. Not necessarily great actions. Start with small steps. Smile at someone today, even if it's forced at first. Help a person even when you don't feel like it. Read a verse that speaks to you and meditate on it throughout the day. Sing a hymn in your heart, even if your voice is weak. Take a step of faith, however small. Every act of faith, no matter how tiny, moves you forward and releases God's power in your life. Because every step you take toward God, God takes 1,000 steps toward you. Because every time you choose hope over despair, you align your life with eternal promises. Because every moment you choose to trust Him, you're building your faith muscle and preparing yourself for the breakthrough that's coming. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are God's child, precious, loved, and destined for glory that eyes have not yet seen. The same God who raised Christ from the dead lives in you and is working all things together for your good. The same power that parted the Red Sea is available to move mountains in your life. The same love that sent His Son to die for you is pursuing you right now. Keep going. Don't give up. Dawn is breaking, and with it, your deliverance. Your testimony of faithfulness is being written right now, and it will inspire others who are facing their own cisterns. Your breakthrough is not just for you. It's for everyone who will hear your story and find hope in your faithfulness. The best is yet to come. Hold on. Keep believing, keep hoping, keep trusting. Your miracle is on the way.